Hey everybody, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My Charlotte Tilbury Bronzer has finally arrived. I am so excited. I have been checking my packaging, my tracking every single day waiting for this, and it finally got here. I feel like I've been waiting for this for quite some time, but it's only been like a week since I've been waiting. But anyway, in today's video, we're going to be talking about this $55 bronzer. Yes, it has a $55 price tag, but I think it is very worth the price tag. So in this video, I'm going to show y'all some swatches. I'm going to compare it to some other bronzers that I have, and then we're going to apply, and you're going to see how I fell in love immediately with this bronzer. So let's jump right into it. So I had my makeup on to the point where I'm ready to apply some bronzer, but before we get into the application, let's just talk about the product for a little bit. I just wanted to quickly show y'all the box. This is the box that it comes in, but what I wanted to show y'all on the back is that it does tell you where to apply the bronzer, like all in the typical places. So this is the packaging here. It looks very, very pretty, very shiny, very Charlotte Tilbury-esque. This is actually my first Charlotte Tilbury product, but I'm very familiar with the packaging. I window shop with Charlotte Tilbury all the time. So it's a really big bronzer, which I love because it does cost $55. And inside you get a really nice size mirror. So I'm trying to show y'all the mirror without blinding you, but that's the mirror. It's big enough to where you can really see your whole face. Like, to me, it's not quite as comfortable as using my mirror that's right in front of me to do my makeup, but if you wanted to like touch up on the go or something, you can really see your whole face in here. So I picked up the shade number 3 Tan, and this is what that shade looks like. So I kept going back and forth between number 3 and number 4, but looking at this, I can tell that I got a good shade. So let me swatch this for you, and then I'm gonna swatch it next to some of my favorite bronzers so we can compare. So just, oh my gosh, this feels really nice and smooth, and like, I guess velvety is the word. So let's swatch here. And I feel like you can't really see it because of the lighting, but that is what the swatch looks like on my hand. Let me see if the swatch builds up. Yeah, I think it builds up a little bit, but I feel like you might not really be able to see it on my hand. But I'm going to compare this to some other bronzers that I own. This is the Too Faced Sun Bunny bronzer, and you're probably looking at this and you're thinking like, well, what can you do with that? Can you really see it on your face? The reason I use this bronzer sometimes is because I like really subtle bronzers, kind of like very, like barely there type bronzers on my face, and that's what this one is. I never use this side because you really can't see that, but I can use this as like a subtle eyeshadow color, but I do use this side as a bronzer sometimes. So I'm also going to swatch this next to Charlotte Tilbury so you can see the difference. So again, that's another one that you may barely be able to see, but that's why I like that bronzer, because it like barely shows up on my skin tone. Next, this is one of my favorite bronzers. I wear this quite a bit. This is Physicians Formula in Endless Summer. And I feel like in terms of the formula, this one would be closest to the Charlotte Tilbury formula, but Charlotte Tilbury just swatched a lot better. So this is Physicians Formula down here. And again, I'm moving my hand around so that hopefully you guys can pick up the color. So next, this is the Morphe Glamour Bronze in the shade Trailblazer. And this one is going to be a little darker than the rest of them. So this is Glamour Bronze in Trailblazer. Next up is the Fenty Stalker Bronzer in Cocoa Naughty. So I just did like a first impressions video, a full face of Fenty first impressions, but you won't see that video until after this one. So I've only used this bronzer once when I did that video, but I did like this one. This one is very similar to the Morphe one. So this one down here is the Fenty one in Cocoa Naughty. And I want to compare one other one. This is an example of a bronzer that runs too red for me. So I like bronzers that are really subtle on the skin, but I like for them to have a little red in them. This one just has way too much red, so I just wanted to swatch it so we could compare. This is the Becca Sunlit bronzer in Maui Night. So you can see like it's like super red. And I'm gonna swatch this one. Actually, I have to swatch it down there. So that's that. So again, this one is the Too Faced Sun Bunny bronzer. The next one is the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer. The next one is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer in Endless Summer. Next is Morphe Glamour Bronze in Trailblazer. Next is Fenty Sun Stalker Bronzer in Cocoa Naughty. And then the last one is the Becca Bronzer in Maui Nights. So those are how all of my other bronzers compare to the Charlotte Tilbury one. I can tell you that out of all of these, the Charlotte Tilbury one, it's swatched the best in terms of formula. In terms of color, I mean, I feel like I have some other ones on here that I like just as much as the Charlotte Tilbury one, but the formula of Charlotte Tilbury was definitely better than the rest of them. Okay, I don't know if I said this earlier, but my eyeshadow looks kind of half done because I'm also going to use some of this bronzer to finish off my eye look. So I am just taking some of that. Now there is quite a bit of kickback already, like when I just tapped my eyeshadow brush into here, there's quite a bit of kickback, and I'm guessing that's because the formula of this is so soft. But I'm just gonna take some of this and just run it around that shimmery shade that I have on my lid, because this is something that I may do with some of my other bronzers just to save time, really. And also because I have other bronzers that, you know, work for this purpose. So, and I like that on my eyes. Let me know what y'all think. Okay, I also went ahead and put some of the bronzer on my lower lash line, and I really like this on the eyes. I do think some of it has to do with that shimmery shade. It's just pairing very well with that because that's like a warm shade, but I do really like that. But now we're gonna go on to the real test, which is how it's gonna bronze up my face. So this is the bronzer brush that I've been using lately. This is from Alamar Cosmetics. So I'm just picking up some on the brush, and again, there's quite a bit of kickback, but you know. So I'm just going to brush it on the high point of my cheek. This, it's like, you know how when you put on bronzers, like you can still see kind of like a line of demarcation. I feel like I don't even see that with this. Like it blends like right into your skin. It's really soft. Like I can tell that it warmed up my face, but it's like really soft. It looks like my skin, like this looks like I woke up like this. Like, do you see that? And I feel like I was wondering if this was buildable, right? So I feel like no matter how much you put on, like, yes, I can see it a little bit more, but I feel like it's not like caking on. It's like no matter how much you put on, it's just like melting into your skin. That is really pretty. And I definitely got the right shade. I feel like if I got deep and I went like kind of light-handed with it, it might have been okay, but I like this because I like a really soft, subtle bronzer. I like this. I feel like before I bronze the other side of my face, I'm going to put my blush and highlighter on over here just so that you can kind of get more of a completed look of what one side of my face looks like when it's bronzed versus the other side with no bronzer on. So actually, before I do that, I got so excited about this, I forgot that I didn't even tell y'all how much it cost. So this bronzer costs $55. I'm not sure, maybe I did say $55 because I talked about how big it is, but the bronzer costs $55, but she's coming out with refillable pans, so you'll be able to pop this pan right out and then buy a refill, and the refill is only going to cost $39, but the refillable pans are not available yet. But it's great that you can buy just the pan because you're only going to be paying for the actual packaging once, and then you can just keep repurchasing for $39. And I believe this is exclusive to charlottetilbury.com, but I actually, let me check that out. Yeah, I'm looking on Sephora's website and I don't see the bronzer listed on here, and I do believe I read on the Charlotte Tilbury website that this is exclusive to charlottetilbury.com. So you might be able to hear fireworks outside. My window is open because it's hot in here, but I went ahead and did the rest of my makeup with the exception of setting spray. So I have bronzer on over here and I have no bronzer over here. So you can clearly see, like on this side of my face with the bronzer, my face looks a lot more dimensional and it looks, you know, like warmed up. But what I just can't get over about this bronzer is how like skin-like it looks. Now, one of the ingredients in here is hyaluronic acid. So the hyaluronic acid is supposed to create like a almost like a smoothing, like filtered effect on your face, and it looks like so skin-like. It's crazy to me. Like, it just looks like this is how my skin naturally is. So I really like this so far. I feel like this is gonna be my go-to bronzer because number one, it was $55, so I want to get my money's worth and use it up, but I don't have any other bronzer that looks this natural to me. Now again, some people like for their bronzers to look a little bit more, I guess unnatural is the word, like they want like that super, you know, bronzy look. So I feel like even if I got the shade Deep and I wanted to go, you know, just a little more glammed and a little more maybe chiseled out, I could get away with Deep. But I feel like this one is a really, really good shade for me because it just looks like it just melts right into my skin. So I'm gonna go ahead and bronze the other side of my face. So I'm just gonna put this right above my blush over here, and just right away it just like, I mean, it's doing what every bronzer does, which is to warm up your face, but like this one is doing a really good job at adding warmth but still making it look like you're not putting on any extra makeup, I guess. It just looks so skin-like. I can't get over that. I'm also going to put some on my nose. When I put bronzer on my nose, I actually prefer to apply it more like a contour. Some people like to put bronzer like right in the center of their nose. I prefer it like on the two outer sides of the nose. And then usually when I do that on my nose, I usually take whatever product I use to apply my foundation. I don't even see my foundation brush, but I usually take whatever product I use to apply my foundation and I'll dab it back over the nose to soften it back out so that the nose doesn't look so defined and so chiseled. But I feel like with this bronzer, I don't even have to do that because it just looks so like natural. Like, I really like this and I'm so happy. I'm so happy that I got the shade Tan. Like I said, I could probably do Deep and still make it look nice, but this is like a really nice everyday subtle natural looking bronzer on me. I really, really like this. Yes, it costs $55, but yes, you need to try it. This is really nice. So the only downside, I guess, to this bronzer is that it only comes in 4 shades. So bronzers, they are more like universal than things like foundation and concealer. So even though there's only 4 shades, each one of those shades is going to work with like a very wide range of skin tones. But I mean, with 4, there definitely is room for more shades. But other than that, I like this bronzer. Like, even though it does have a hefty price tag, I mean, it is a luxury brand. So I feel like people would expect to pay $55 for a bronzer from this line. Now the finishing powder, I feel like the finishing powder costs like $39 or something like that, but this is like a really huge bronzer. It's going to take you a very long time to get through this, and like I said, they're going to be refillable pans available for only $39. So I think this is a really good product, and I'm very happy that I got it, and I just cannot get over how natural it looks. Like, I'm really loving it so far. So I also bought one of the new Makeup Revolution bronzers. I got that in the shade medium, so I'm waiting for that to come in the mail. So if you want to see my first impression on that one, make sure that you click my notification bell so you'll know when that video is out. So I really hope that y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing because that would really help me out and I would greatly appreciate it. And I hope to see y'all back for my next video. Until then, take care, y'all. Have a good one. Bye.